Lots of us spend the workday sitting at our desks, but prolonged sitting isn't necessarily great for your health.
It makes me want to have better posture. Dr. Kohli is with us to talk about that and how standing desks can help prevent the health risks. So please talk to us about the health risks with prolonged sitting, because I do a lot of this.
You know, our body wasn't designed to sit, ladies, and yet we sit for sort of 8 to 10 hours a day for most of us on average. And so you think about all the things that it does to our body. It increases our risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, and stroke, increases our risk of mental health problems. It can even cause hormonal dysregulation when we're sitting for a long time. And believe it or not, it shortens our life expectancy if we have a job where we're sitting most of the day at our desk. So whatever's said and done, we have to figure out ways to incorporate activity into our lives.
Well, I'm curious because we have that right in our newsroom. There's a collection of people at the standing desk, and I'm always like, look at those overachievers standing at their desks. But is there research? Is this a good thing? Do we all need to be trying to pine for one of these desks?
So too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, and that's where standing desks come in. So those people that stand for 8-10 hours a day, that is not a good idea, because even though standing is a little better than sitting, but think about when we stand, it puts so much stress on our body, right? On our back, on our hips, on our knees, on our feet. So we have increased risk of plantar fasciitis, increased risk of arthritis. We have increased risk of varicose veins because all that blood is kind of rushing down to our feet. And for most of us, we generally lock our knees or have a bad posture when we're standing for prolonged periods of time because our muscles can get tired. So I like to say, if you are going to stand, you have to do it in the right way.
And so the right way would be different increments of time?
Exactly. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio or 2-to-1 ratio. So that means standing to sitting, either 30 minutes standing, then 30 minutes sitting, and alternate back and forth, or 1 hour standing and then 30 minutes sitting. Sometimes I also tell people that if you're not going to do a standing desk, if you're like Alex or me, I don't like those standing desks because they hurt my back and I don't feel like I'm sort of standing with good posture. Then every 30 minutes, you get up and you either do a stretch at your desk, you take a quick little walk, you go up and down 10 stairs, you do something to get your body moving.
Every 30 minutes? It seems excessive.
Well, so here's what the study showed, and this is the reason. So it looked at 90,000 British citizens, okay, and it followed them with an accelerometer, so kind of assess their level of activity. The median sitting time was 9 hours, so people were sitting for about 9 hours. So if you fell into the less than 9 hours category compared to the greater than 10 hours, those greater than 10-hour people had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular death or heart failure, even if they were active people. So this is adjusting for the fact that people often think, okay, I've been sitting all day, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to get on the treadmill, make up for all that damage that I did. But that didn't seem to make up the difference. On the other hand, if they worked in every 30 minutes or every 60 minutes some kind of activity, it really did negate that risk substantially.
What about for the people that, because you just touched on it, that, we might try to justify in our minds that, okay, I'm going to go to the gym later. If you're sitting at your desk 6 to 7 hours, asking for a friend, then you go and go on a walk, is that okay to mitigate the health risks?
I would say no, because I would say our body really is designed to not have these long periods. So think about what's happening to your metabolism. So if you can take a quick little walk around the newsroom for a friend while you're sitting, that's what I would tell your friend. Go to the water cooler, have a conversation with a friend. That social activity helps too, but you cannot be sitting for many, many hours at a time. This is why I like being in the office when I'm seeing patients, because literally I'm running from room to room, and even if I sit at my desk, it's for 5 minutes at a time. So try to work in, if you can, the standing desk. If that doesn't feel good, you could try one of those bike desks or treadmill desks. But I think even better than that is if you can have an excuse, maybe when you're switching tasks or checking emails or whatever, every 30 to 60 minutes, get up, even if it's to go to the bathroom or something. Do something active.
That's good advice. And I'm always like, hey, Sam. I can shout at her at my desk. She's like, what's up? And we don't get out of our chairs.
We don't get up.
So now I will get up when I have something to say to Sam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kohli. Great advice as always.
Are you feeling stuck in your midlife? I was just asking Barbara, what is midlife?
And we're going to get to that. Save it.
Okay. I'm not going to give it all away. This is what some would call a midlife crisis, which has traditionally been associated with men, But
That's true but here's the thing though, there is new research that suggests that a significant portion of women actually experience a sense of uncertainty or stagnation around this age, often associated with midlife transition and questions about career, personal identity, so very important topic.
yes, and if you are feeling this way at all, you're certainly not alone, and you're in luck because our pro-aging expert, Barbara Brooks, is here with 3 tips to kind of help you get unstuck. So as always, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're
We
so
love when
welcome.
you're here.
I got to tell you, because if you think about what midlife crisis was to us when we thought about it way back when, the stereotype was men driving Corvettes.
Sports car.
Convertible.
In their mid-50s, convertible.
Like new
picking up
Rolex or
on the younger
something,
chicks.
right.
Yes. I can't believe I said chicks, but you know what I'm
it's
saying.
true.
That was like the stereotype.
Right.
And now, yes.
No, I'm glad that you brought that up because it's vastly different. And I didn't know any of this until you started to send me some research. So to Alex's earlier question, first just define for all of us, so we don't think of like the man in the red convertible Corvette, what is a midlife crisis?
It is some of the things that it's emotional, it's psychological, and it's also the identity transitions that's happening in the 40s. And traditionally it does happen in the for women, especially in our early to mid 40s. We have so much going on in our lives. We've got caregiving, we've got aging, society says when you age, you're this, that, and the other, and you should be done. We've got caregiving for some of us on both ends of the spectrum. So not only our parents or family members, but our children, the caregiving. We have so many things that in midlife we get stuck and stagnant and burnt out on all the things that are driving us to just say, who am I?
Well, let's talk about burnout because I think there's this misconception, right? Like, I absolutely love what I do. You can love what you do and still feel burnt out doing it, right?
You absolutely
Okay,
can.
good, because I'm like, that's how I'm feeling. I'm like, I love
You absolutely can. You can love everything that you are living for,
right?
But then also feel, wow, I'm spent. And that's when you have to sort of reassess and think, what do I mostly like about this thing that may be causing burnout? Because there's certain parts of your job that you probably love and certain parts you don't. So I think the burnout is caused from the things that you have to do as part of your job, but you don't like to. And so burnout it happens to, I don't have a stat on how many people, but I can tell you about probably 90% of the people I know have felt some sense of burnout. And burnout starts earlier today because of all the things that we're hit with. The social media, again, all those things I talked about, the caregiving, the societal pressures of aging, of keeping up with the Joneses, of unmet goals that we may have set for ourselves that we haven't maybe met. A lot comes with burnout / midlife crisis.
Yes.
So we only have 30 seconds. I'm so sorry, Barbara. We can talk to you forever. But is there like a remedy? Is it just acknowledging that we're trying to balance it all? Or what is it? What's the solution?
Reflect on what it is you liked and didn't like, reassess on all those things, and then reboot. Because we're never too old to do anything. Forget about the societal, the outdated stereotypes that the timelines say you have to do this, do that, or the other. Just take a step back and be with yourself, which is so hard for us as women, and then just reboot.
Reassess,
reflect, reassess, reboot.
The 3 R's. We can do it. I love
Barbara,
it.
thank you so much.
Wow. And you can join Barbara and 5 other experts at Unstuck Boot Camp this Saturday, November 23rd, to help you find your next big thing, your second act. So head to secondactwomen.com. Thank you again, Barbara.
In today's Kitchen Table Talk, we're talking about motherhood and the identity of being a mom.
And for new moms, that can be getting used to an entire new identity, and some women worry about losing their old identity in the process.
Experts recommend a few things to try to maintain your sense of self while still embracing your newfound role as a mom. 1 is embrace positive self-talk. Be kind to yourself in what can be a challenging time. 2, hold on to perspective. Experts say everything is a phase in parenthood and your baby will grow before you know it.
3, open up to loved ones. Some of them may know how you're feeling, but it's also better in the long run for that communication to be open. 4, make time for hobbies. Do something outside of connecting with your baby. And 5, try talk therapy. Did you go through this with Ava and Piper, or just Ava?
I feel like I'm better with child number 2 because, you know, I've beat myself up enough with the first one. Then you have a second one, you're just like, okay, wait a minute. Like, you know, I missed this birthday party, or lunch is the same 2 days in a row and she's gonna be fine. And I just say to myself a lot on baby number 2, this is temporary. This is all temporary. This is just like a phase. It's a part of her childhood, and she's not gonna remember that I like, you know.
I love that you're self-talk, because that was that was one of them. A lot of us can be our own worst critics. And I remember for me with baby number 1, just, you know, having a baby later in life, you know, my first child, I was 37, you're set in your ways. So I just remember this, no one talks about like the complete difference that I was pre-children and after. And of course, all of it is wonderful, but there is a little bit of like a grief process of like the old me. And then you somehow learn how to blend your 2 identities together. And now I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, but it is an adjustment, and I want people to talk about it.
No, I love that too. And then reaching out for help, because I never think about it too, because it's like your mom is your mom, but like, wait a minute, you were this age with me and doing these things. Well, that's a good resource, right? Like aunts, uncles, cousins, they're people
They've done
in your
it.
life.
Yep.
Who've done it
Talk
before
about
you.
it. Yes.